Good morning. Super excited as always to be with you here today. And we are going to be going into how to serve and sell even when you're in a funk, because the funk, it's always around. So if you are around, say hello, let me know where you're coming from and what kind of business you're in. Ask questions as we go. If you catch this on the replay, let me know your questions as well and your ahas as we go through this. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today, or what you can do when you notice the funk, when you don't feel like serving, you don't feel like selling, you don't feel like doing your business, what you can do to get out of that right away. And I'm going to walk you through 7 steps and show you what happens when you're out of alignment, and then how to bring yourself back into alignment. And then I'll do a brief recap at the end, and then share a client story of how this looks so that you can see a practical example and so that you can use this, because my commitment to you is to share information that you can use right away. So it's practical, it's applicable, and for you to personalize it, because no one system can work for you except your own. Of course, we can learn from others, but it's our responsibility to adapt it to ourselves to ensure that we're using something that works for us. And if you don't know me, I'm Corey Googe. And so my approach to, business and working with coaches and psychotherapists and therapists and consultants is really a holistic approach to business, because I have found in my journey in the business world that when we focus, which is really common, on just the numbers, on just sales, just the strategy, which is all coming from the head, which is very common, we disconnect from our heart, we disconnect from our purpose, we disconnect from our body a lot. And that is where the funk comes from. That's when we get into overwhelm, we get into confusion, we get into analysis, we start searching for the magic formula, the secret strategy out there, and enroll in multiple programs and work with different coaches and still don't find we're making the progress that we hope. That's all coming from a disconnection from your heart, your purpose, because you're operating all from your head. And so how I approach supporting my clients is from a very holistic point of view. We, of course, are going to address what's happening in your business, but we are also going to go deep into your relationship with yourself, with your clients, with your partner, with your family, with food, with exercise, with movement, with your thoughts and beliefs, with God, like all the things that really, with life, because what we're doing here is we're creating a life that you love through being able to contribute work that you love in a way that you love, and to be able to receive from that work that you are offering the world, because it is your unique contribution and only you can do it. And so of course you want to, provide that service and that value and be compensated well for that. So we can't just look at numbers. We have to look at everything. We have to look at who you are being in what it is that you are creating. And of course, I'm speaking from a place of having been totally disconnected from my body, from my heart, and going all from the head and doing all the strategies and doing everything under the sun, thinking that was the answer, that it had to be coming from information. It had to be some other book, some other program, some other coach, some other something platform. And that would be the answer. And so it was in that constant cycle of searching outside of me for what can only be found from within. And the only way to find it from within is to quiet down and go really deep and really connect with God, with your heart, with your purpose, and really uncover those gifts that you are here to share in a way that only you can. And those are going to be in highest service to your clients. So having said all that, let's jump into today's training. So when you're noticing, you're in that funk and you're just not feeling the love in your business and not feeling you're getting maybe the responses, you're not getting just whatever it is that the feeling of what you want to experience in your business, it's feeling a little bit off. I'm going to walk you through 7 ways that you'll notice that is off, and then 7 ways that coordinate with those 7 ways that you're off, that you can help reconnect and come back into a place where even if you're in that funk, you can go through this and you can start serving and selling right away. So you don't have to let the funk take you down, because the funk is going to keep coming. Because the more you expand, the more you are reaching new levels, the more you are going to be hit with a different variety of funk. So when you know, of course, that's natural. And sometimes if you can even come to that place where you welcome it and you're excited because you know this is just an opportunity for you to recalibrate, to know that you're going through another initiation in your business of what it looks like. And it's okay that you don't feel like being in your business. It's actually a good thing. It's actually for you to step back and to come into a different perspective of your business. Okay, so say hello. Let me know where you are as we go, if you jump on as we're in this. Okay, so 7 steps, right? And we're gonna start, because like I mentioned, most of our funk comes from completely operating from our head, which is, very Western, culture, Western society. It's all like logic and intellect and information. And so what happens then is we're disconnected from our heart, we're disconnected from our body, from our purpose. We're just going through the motions and thinking that's okay, that we can just be zombies doing work, which isn't why you started your business. So how we're going to start is we're going to start at the and I'm going to go through the chakra system, and I'll put some links if you don't know what that is. But really what we're going to do is we're going to bring you back into your body. And so instead of starting with the head and looking for more information and trying to find the solution, we're going to start with the root. So the root is at the base of your spine. So that's like your center of stability, of security. If you think about, those of you that ski or snowboard, anything that requires balance, that's where your balance comes from, is really being connected to your core, to the base of your spine. And so, of course, this coordinates with the root chakra, which is the place of security, stability, of just looking at my notes, of trust, right? So when this is off, what that looks like is, of course, you will feel insecure. Makes sense? You will become really rigid. This is like when we start to seek all those, those blueprints, all those strategies. We want I'll just follow the steps. We want that rigid formula because we think that's what's going to create safety and stability. It also shows up as being impatient and also shows up as being stuck. So when you notice, you're noticing these things of feeling insecure and feeling stuck, know that this is the place to start, is in the root chakra, the base of the spine, because this is the foundation. If your body is not functioning, you can't have a business anyway. So at the base of the spine, where I want you to really start to understand what I'm playing with here is come back to your purpose. This is the foundation. Your purpose is the way that you will create stability and security and trust. So when you come to that base of your spine, think of it, this is your foundation, and you want to build your business on a strong foundation. And so your foundation is your purpose. And so you can go deeper into, and this is what I will help you with if you become a client, what I help my clients with, go deeper into what it is your purpose. Why are you doing what you're doing? Who are you doing it for? How are you doing it? What does it look like? What is the experience like? Come really deep. What are your gifts? And where do those gifts come from? How have they developed over time? And what is it that you are uniquely wired to contribute to this world? And what is the impact of that? So that's coming to your root, to your foundation, which will give you that sense of security and stability. So you always want to start there. When your head is going crazy and you're not feeling like doing anything and you're in a funk, come back to the foundation. And then we're going to build. So once you are connected to your purpose and have that grounding in your foundation, and of course, you can do some grounding activities here too, like walking on the grass, being out in nature, just really connecting to who are you in this grand scheme of things, right? So then we're going to slowly start to move up the body. After you are connected to your foundation, to your security, your stability, you can start to build trust. Your second chakra is your sacral chakra. And this is right at this is where your sexual energy comes from, your creativity, the reproductive organs. And this is where you want to be creating from, but you can't create without the foundation. So that's why we start with the foundation first. You have your purpose. From your purpose, now you are able to activate that purpose using connecting with your sacral chakra and to bring it into being, to start to flow, to start to really see, what do you want to experience? What is the picture? What is the desire and the pleasure and the play, the energy that you want to experience in your business? So you're starting to give it some shape here. And then as we start to continue to move up our body into the solar plexus, this is the place of your personal power, of your ego, of your identity, of your self-esteem. From here, of course, when this is off, that's when you become really indecisive, really controlling, really fearful of rejection, which also makes you really critical of others. So notice when that's happening and know that's coming from, there's something off in your solar plexus, in your personal power. And how you can bring this back into alignment is from that foundation of your purpose, moving up into creating, what do you want that to look like? What is that experience? How can you bring more energy and pleasure to that? And then into your personal power, this is when you own it. When you own, this is what you are about, this is what you stand for, this is what you're creating, this is the impact that you're going to have, this is the contribution that you're making. And you really come from a place of, this is who you are. Okay? So from your solar plexus, we're going to keep moving up the body into the heart. So in your heart, this is where you want to take what you've created, take that you owned, that's what you're creating, is who you are, and you want to surround it with unconditional love for you, for your soulmate clients, for the impact that you're having. When this is off, when you're off in your heart center, this is where you'll start to notice all that comparison and jealousy. This is where you start to feel that sense of distrust, and your sense of self starts to feel a little bit off as well. And so you really, from this place, to be able to open your heart, you really want to start to have those conversations with yourself, with others, to really connect more deeply with God, with your purpose, because in sending it love and knowing everything that has happened has been perfect. Okay? Now, as we keep moving up from the heart, we're going to move to the fifth chakra, which is the throat, which is the seat, the place of communication, of creativity, of self-expression. So when this is off, that's when you start to talk really negatively about yourself. You start to criticize yourself. You don't listen to your intuition. You don't listen to others. This is where you even, will start lying to yourself and to others. And you can even hold back and feel afraid of speaking up. So how to bring this to activate this is that you have your foundation, your purpose. You have energized it, activated into what you want it to look like in the creation. Then you brought it into your personal power and owned it's what you are and who you are, surrounded it with unconditional love. And so now you want to speak it into being. Now you want to declare it. You want to decree it. It is done. This is what you stand for. This is who you are. This is what your offer is. This is what you help people with. This is who you help. And you want to send it out with conviction, with confidence, with love, with clarity, knowing as you hold that intention of what you're creating, because it is who you are, you're speaking that truth, it's going to come into being. Okay? And now, so keep going. Hello. We're going to move up. So you're speaking it out, you're putting it out to the universe, to the world, to your community. Now you're going to connect with your third eye, your pineal gland. This is, of course, where you receive your insight. This is heightened awareness. This is, intuition, imagination. When this is off, that's when you start to notice that you have a hard time seeing the big picture. You don't know what your vision is. And you can swing back and forth between either creating like a fantasy or creating the nightmare. So you really lack that discernment of what it is that you truly desire. And you're not feeling connected to your purpose. or your intuition. So what you want to do in this place is to connect more deeply here is to engage in activities that allow you to connect with your intuition, to your imagination. You can do some creative endeavors like drawing or painting, or again, spending time in nature and looking at the beauty of nature. You can start to, color. You can start to listen to music, to play music. All of this is starting to engage that imagination of what's possible for you. And so you want to take what you called into being and are creating and declaring and decreeing. As you connect to your intuition, to your third eye, you are expanding because you're opening to all the ways this can come into being. So this is letting go of all the rigid thinking that it has to come in this way and it has to look like this and this is how exactly it's going to work. You're giving up your desire, your vision to God, to the universe, and saying, here it is. And you're opening yourself to all the ways it can come to you, even if it looks different than what you had imagined. Because this is the place where you are in deep trust of letting it go and trusting it'll come back and not placing constraints and conditions on what it has to look like. And then as you keep moving up, as we get to the crown chakra, that's when you are connecting to higher consciousness, to spirituality, to higher levels of knowledge. When this is off, this is when you become really cynical. You can become apathetic, become really self-destructive. You can become addicted to spirituality, law of attraction, all that stuff that gets you just doing all the things, but not seeing any results because you're doing, you're not being. And also this can be where you lack empathy for yourself and for others. You can be really confused when this is off, not feeling inspired, of course, like we're talking about when you're in a funk. And so how you want to connect with this is that you've created what you desire, you've surrounded it with love, you spoke it into being, you're expanding and letting it take shape and open to all the ways it can come to you. And then the crown is really where you start to elevate, where you're open to stepping into higher levels of power, of influence, and knowing that will probably require some initiation. And so in the elevation, you are open to being shaped and honed and refined into who you're meant to be. And so that's when, of course, things can start to come much more easily. So what questions do you all have? I'm going to recap because I know that is a lot of information. So when you're in the funk, instead of letting the funk take you out, what you want to do is notice that often, usually, almost always, when you're in a funk, it's because you're in your head and you're analyzing, you're in confusion, you're in overwhelm, you're trying to do all the things, which means you're disconnected from your body and from your purpose. So the first thing you want to do is ground into your roots, come back to your purpose, come back to your connection to God, to what you're here for. Then slowly allow yourself from that place of purpose to create what it is that you desire. What does it look like? Who is it for? What is the experience of it like? Then own it as yours, as yours and as who you are. Then surround it with unconditional love. Speak it into being. Declare it, decree it, it's done. Be open into expansion and all the ways that it can come to you, and then elevate into the person you're ultimately continually being called to be. So I'm going to share what this looks like for one of my clients. So when she came to me, she had, like me, had invested in many programs, many high-ticket programs, had, of course, done all the work in all those programs, and not seen many results from those programs. And so she had gotten really disconnected from her business and really disillusioned because it wasn't fun. She was doing things that she thought she had to do, but it wasn't even creating the results that she desired. So she just became really disenchanted that this wasn't really what she wanted anymore. When we started working together, this is exactly what we did. We came back to what is her purpose? What is she here for? How is she designed to serve her clients in a way that no one else can, based on her experience, her gifts, her challenges? Then we started to create, what does that look like? What is the experience of her guiding her clients from her purpose, not from some other coach telling her she needs to do a 90-day program and they need to meet for an hour and a half and they need to have Voxer in between. She wasn't creating it from any shoulds. We were creating it from purpose and from the experience of what she wanted to give her clients and what her clients wanted to receive from her, so that energy exchange could be balanced. We designed her program, then she owned it and declared, surrounded it with love, then declared it, just shared it. Within 72 hours of us creating this program, she had surrounded it with love and knew it was her. Her husband even started changing their interaction. I mean, it was tangible. You could see the difference in her because she was owning it and she was loving it. And that changed her interactions with her husband. It changed how she showed up when she was sharing about it. And so she shared one video, had people reach out to her, booked a client right away. After having not booked clients in many, many months and not having any love in her business, and even having her husband starting to kind of, question, and to turning everything around, to her husband being excited and on board, to her getting clients coming in, and then her expanding and opening to what is it going to continue to look like, and then elevating into who does she need to step into, continue to step into being. So that is what's possible when you do your work in life and business differently, from a place of groundedness, from a place of purpose, from a place of love. That's where you get the clarity. That's where you get out of confusion. And that's where you start to build that momentum and that consistency, because you're really coming from a deeper connection to who you are meant to be and who you're meant to serve and how. So if you are interested and really are ready to get just a jump start, to get out of the funk, to get out of confusion, and really start to really own what it looks like to be in business and to serve your clients in a different way, and you're really craving clarity, craving a deeper connection to what you're here for, and consistency in how you're showing up and how you're sharing, I am offering for a limited time 10 spots into a connection, clarity, and consistency VIP session. So it'll be you and I will go deep. I'll have you do a pre-assessment so I can kind of see where you are, where you're feeling stuck. We will have a 70-minute session where I will share with you what it is that's keeping you stuck, so you have some clarity around that, and then shifting it, seeing the gift in it so you can break through it. Through that, create connection to what you're here to do, and some practices to help you come back to that when you're feeling that stuckness come back. And then a plan to create consistency in how you show up, how you share, so you can start getting clients in right away, no matter what's going on in your life or in the world. So for limited time, there'll be 10 spots available for that. It's $237, and I will share a link where you can just reach out to me, and then what that looks like is you'll book your payment, I'll send you the assessment, and then you'll get a link to my calendar, and you get to rock your business, even when you're in a funk. Okay, and if you have questions, of course, if you also want to know about other ways to work with me, please send me a message. I'll put a link below to how you can reach out to me. And if you have questions about this topic and anything that's going on in your business that you want to share, feel free to comment, and I'll come back and answer your questions later on. All right, so stay tuned for more love coming your way this week. And in the meantime, come back to you. That's where it all starts. All right, love y'all. Talk to you soon. Bye.